is Raph. I am playing Grinner, a barbarian human, running from his past as an ex-soldier, now turned mercenary.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared. I'm playing the character of Luther. He's a Dhampir. He is a fighter that specializes in firearms, a bit of an investigator, and I am the great uncle of Grinner.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm playing Tithla, the Goblin Ranger. She is a wonderful hunter and medical genius.
Hi, I'm Haz. I'm playing Theodore, the Satyr Druid, who's a kind of a charismatic Druid who's unwillingly taken Tithla under his wing as she's followed him through the forest for the past few months.
Hi, my name is Josh. I am from the RollTogether RPG stream, and I will be playing Killian Maxwell, a half-elf warlock who has come to Barovia. He was with the party previously but has lost them and has joined up with the Tempest Guild on their adventures.
G'day, I'm Tom. I'm playing Jonor, the Aasimar wizard. He is on the pursuit of good and evil, finding out the best and worst in this world, and he's doing that with a little bit of naivety and optimism.
And I'm Owen, the Dungeon Master of our Curse of Strahd campaign. A warning, gentle viewer. Curse of Strahd is a horror-themed Dungeons & Dragons campaign, which means you may hear adult language or adult themes throughout this episode. Hello!
Hello!
Hello, everybody, and perfect timing from Thomas. Tom, who have you got there, mate?
I got a cute little golden retriever named Noodle.
Oh, that little yacht, she's so cute.
Yeah.
For podcast listeners, I am really sorry you're missing out on this. This is a great time to quickly run and get yourselves onto YouTube to quickly see the gorgeous puppy. Now, we did have a little bit of a scare for Noodle behind the scenes this last week. Tom, you picked
12 hours this Thursday.
Yeah. You had Noodle for 4 days and then got misdiagnosed with parvovirus based on a false positive test. I am really pleased that it was a false positive and she's all okay, but there was a tense 12 hours where everyone who knows parvovirus and I think all of us who have dogs do know parvovirus. It's one of those things that if you're a dog owner, you just have to know about. We were all really worried for Tom and Noodle, but good news, Noodle is parvovirus free. She's got no parvovirus. Oh, she's so cute. Look at that little yawn.
She's so cute.
Oh my god, that video of you playing fetch with her. She's gonna eat the cables. Nice, perfect, ideal.
No electronic devices for you.
Just putting out there, inspiration for Noodle.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Noodle, the next dice you roll, you can have double advantage.
Cute, very cute. All right, I'll go put her somewhere.
No dramas,
better than
mate.
my lap.
No dramas at all. And when Noodle inevitably gets to hang out with our other dogs, we'll make sure we get some videos because I think that'll be pretty gorgeous.
Hell yeah.
Us too. So while Tom goes and drops Noodle back off with his partner to be on pup watching duty, we have 2 apologies for tonight. Well, 1 apology and 1. So Josh, who plays the character of Killian, is away today. He's not going to be able to make it to the session. He may be joining us at the very end. It all depends on how things are going with his work. But he ended up having a meeting he couldn't reschedule. So I'll play Killian for tonight's episode. It's nice of him to commit to essentially what looks like a very dark and evil pathway and then leave me holding the bag on explaining this to the rest of the characters. So thanks for that, Josh. I'll do my best to get through that. Jared is having a bit of trouble with the internet. Unfortunately, in many parts of Victoria, there's been quite wild weather sweeping through. He's here!
Huzzah!
There he is.
Josh is in the chat saying fingers crossed, wahahaha. Thanks for this, Josh. Great. Thanks for leaving me holding the bag on that one. And Jared, welcome. Perfect timing. I was going to say you may be running a little bit late, but you are here right now. The silence was concerning.
I don't know how good it's going to be though, because this is really laggy.
Okay, no dramas. Luckily, it wasn't a massive story-focused session. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. I think he's gone.
Really lag.
That was really laggy.
You know,
I've got like 40 seconds of lag. Not bad.
When it takes you 20 seconds to finish the word laggy, you've got a problem. Jared is experiencing some technical difficulties. I will play Luther until either they get sorted or until the internet's fixed. That was amazing. That was an incredible demonstration of the internet issues that Victoria is facing right now. Thank you for that, Jared. That was perfect. Oh my goodness. The only other news I have to share is obviously we've got Avatar coming out on Thursday in Australia. It looks like it's going to be dropping on Netflix around about 6 p.m. Brisbane time, 7 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne time. The Avatar crew and I are still figuring out exactly how we want to do our little talk show session about it, but it will likely be starting around about 6:37 on Thursday, so that we've had a chance to watch it, had a chance to sort of absorb, and then come with some hot takes and fresh commentary discussing it. Hopefully having really enjoyed ourselves and with loads of cool things to share. In preparation, I am going to watch M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender 2 hours beforehand, just so that I can really set my expectations, hopefully at a more positive level.
It can't be worse.
Because I also did recently rewatch a number of the Last Airbender animated series episodes for a bit of research for the new campaign we're doing in Avatar. So I feel like the problem is I've kind of set the bar really high. So I just need to balance that out by watching pure garbage. I think is the best way to describe it. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll keep you guys posted on Discord or on the Facebook page about what's happening with that and the start time. I'll also update on the Twitch schedule so that you can see the start time for that, and we'll make a post in the Discord when we're going live. We may end up actually doing it in the Discord chat and having a bit of a chat to you guys to get your hot takes on it too. Just depends on how well the audio video system sets up and how we can have it so that we don't get smacked down with copyright strikes if we do happen to want to discuss things with clips or examples. So I'll keep you posted on how that's all going to look. That is the only fun announcement from me for this week. I don't think there's anything other fun. We all had a bit of a chuckle at the Dune 2 popcorn bucket at the beginning of the last episode. That discussion then continued into our Return of the Giants episode because a number of people hadn't seen the popcorn bucket. So we ended up having like a 20-minute talk at the beginning of the episode, but I moved it to the end about that and having a bit of a laugh at it. Raph, you're looking a bit confused. Have you seen the Dune 2 popcorn bucket?
I have zero idea.
Raph, could you please Google the Dune 2 popcorn bucket for us, please?
You may be more familiar with it as the Dune 2 sex toy.
Or Shai Halusias has just said that, which I quite enjoy. That's the face of a man who's looking. This is legitimate merchandise for the movie Dune 2.
I'm sorry, getting.
Sorry, what?
This is what we had a genuine 20-minute discussion because obviously Matt, who plays in the Return of the Giants, he's involved with marketing and design elements, and we had a big chat about how this gets through. Because
it just has to be someone above you. Like you put it up as a joke, and it just has to be someone above you. Always just thinks that the person above them will get it. It's just too funny to say no to.
Right?
Until eventually you put out millions of dollars worth of fucking fleshlight worm merch.
For those of you who want an in-depth discussion of this, I thoroughly recommend going and checking out the Return of the Giants episode from last week. I have also included pictures of the Dune 2 popcorn bucket for context, and I've also animated a whole bunch of them during our conversations doing some funny shit because I had some spare time and it's too funny not to. So I also, I think there was a bit where one of us said the spice must flow, and I had spice emerging from inside of the Dune 2 popcorn bucket all over our faces, which I quite enjoyed. So,
That's right.
So I don't know what happens. It was just, I don't know what happens. Like, there was a part of me that was like, I've always wanted to make this kind of video for fun. Let's go. Let's just abandon all tact, all taste, all decorum, and let's create this monstrosity.
They abandoned tact first.
So I had really fun making that. I think I was also in a meeting that I didn't need to pay much attention to. It was like a 2-hour meeting, so I had a lot of spare time to play around with this. So like, while like serious discussions are going on, I'm like moving the explosion of spice, getting it lined up just right. So yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. we're not going to talk more about it tonight. I'm pleased we've got Raph's live reaction. It's pretty funny. You'll find that the image of it does keep coming back, and you do find more questions to ask yourself. Why is the first one? Then it does move on to others. How, what, who, when.
I really got held up on how and who. They were the real good questions that I had.
Yeah. You do come back to why a lot too. It's almost like interspersed with lots of why. Why is this a thing?
It's fun.
Yeah.
And for podcast listeners who weren't able to see that, feel free to leave a message, say how it's not fair you didn't get to see Raph's face. Jump over to YouTube, leave a comment, let us know it's not fair.
Thing is, though, if you've jumped over YouTube, you have now gotten to see Raph's face. Therefore, that unfairness argument's invalid.
Understand. Just comment.
Yeah, just do it.
Great. Thank you for that,
Everyone
Jacob.
wants to see Raph's face.
That's true. That is a fact. That is all the fun announcements I have to share. If anyone else has any fun new things to share, now is the time to do it. Otherwise, we will jump into our session. No, I see blank faces. The only thing I have to say, I've almost finished Surviving the Aftermath, which I've been playing as sort of like an episode to come out in between D&D stuff. If you've got a suggestion for a game you'd like me to play, chuck it in the comments. Give me some advice. There's a couple that I've been looking at to jump into that I thought would be really fun. Just some single player ones that I can play and just chuck up like 30-minute episodes of. I probably will jump back into the Wandering Village for a little bit because there's been 2 big updates since I last played that and they look awesome. Otherwise, there's a survival caravan game I've seen called Outbound, which looks really interesting. So I'm going to go check that out as well. It's like I think it's like set slightly in the future and you can go get a caravan, go live off the grid and like survive in the wilderness and set up like it sounds really fun. That's the sort of game I love. It sounds
cool.
Yeah, and the art style is really cool. Really, really cool. Like I really like it. So I'm going to go check out that.
Well,
Not sponsored.
art style.
What is the art style? It's like a little bit Studio Ghibli-esque. Imagine like an American take on a Studio Ghibli style, like American landscape painting, but Studio Ghibli style is the best way to describe it.
That's cool.
It's really
That's
cool.
very cool.
I really like it.
Yep.
Gonna have to sticky beak.
It's not
I
out yet,
discovered
unfortunately.
very recently that my gaming laptop that I bought specifically for gaming has been running off 8 gig of RAM for the last year and a half. I was like, oh, okay. Turns out it runs up to 64 gig. It's got slots for up to 64 and it's just been running on 8. So fuck it. So now I've upgraded to half of that. I'm only up to 20 something.
32?
I don't know. I've got more gig now.
As long as the number's going up. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
More oomph.
Yes.
And oh my god, it's made a difference. Holy shit. I can actually play video games on my goddamn gaming laptop now, that's a nice
Crazy
change.
how that works, isn't it?
That's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah. Give me all the games, guys. Just give me, yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3?
I've been playing that anyway.
Yeah.
Now
Exactly.
I can just play it on ultra high graphics rather than derpy.
You don't have to wait 10 minutes for each new area to load.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't cast a spell and the next turn you watch the fire effect appear behind you.
Pretty much.
That's good. It's good. No, that's awesome. I've got a list of stuff I can send you, Raph. Really, really fun single player games that are inexpensive.
Oh, good. Even better.
That's what we like. Awesome. I think that's everything. Let's jump into the session. I've got a big old recap to get through, thanks to Haz and Tom last session, who, when offered the chance to join me in a slightly slower, less plot-heavy episode while other players were away, waited until Jacob had to drop out partway through the episode and then hit the nitrous oxide button and really advanced the plot forwards. So
Abbot had a sense of urgency. We had.
So really, that's your fault, Owen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's my fault. Let me do the recap and we'll jump straight back into the session.
Abbot, we can't go with you. You have to fucking do this little side quest to delay things for an episode. Like,
Could have worked. If you'd really insisted that your friends needed healing rather than being like, yeah, all right, we'll come with you. It was the fact that there was no pushback apart from, you can't really go alone though. I guess one of us will come too. That's what I quite enjoyed.
Blood that information immediately. It was like, he probably would share.
I know, no, exactly. You all acted in the way your characters would. It was absolutely perfect. Alrighty. And also, I think this is episode 50, so happy half a century. Our series has been following the adventures of the Tempest Adventuring Guild. Theo, Luther, Jonor, Grinner, Tithla, and newcomer Killian, an adventurer from a distant land. Having become trapped within the realm of Barovia while searching for some missing adventurers, the team have been travelling west in search of an escape. With Tithla's burns still requiring medical attention, and Killian suffering from a vampire bite, the team have made the journey into the village of Kresk and the abbey located in the mountains high above. Made partly in the company of Nikolai and Stella Wachter, the last surviving children of the Wachter family who also needed the assistance of a healer, Stella having suffered a mental break following exposure to an unstable portal in the town of Vallaki. The group were greeted at the abbey gates by two misshapen humanoid forms, Otto and Siegfried, two mongrel folk who reside within the abbey. After confirming they were here for healing and posed no threat to the monastery, the two mongrel folk led the team into the abbey courtyard. After a short wait, in which the team discovered strange sheds containing insane mongrel folk nearby, the abbot emerged from within the walls. Inviting the group inside, the abbot first healed Tithla's burns, removing the burnt and damaged tissue and regrowing fresh skin in its place. While Theo and Luther discussed the existence of a secret lockbox said to hold some goodies, the Vistani had previously asked them to steal this, Jonor had some insights into the true nature of the abbot, realizing that he is in fact a Deva. Meanwhile, Grinner seemed really impressed with the magic on display and attempted to recruit the abbot against Strahd and the other dark power active in Barovia, offering his own body as trade, specifically allowing the abbot to swap his damaged liver for a fresh one from a werewolf. Unfortunately, the success the abbot had with helping Tithla wasn't repeated with Grinner. As the transmutation magic began to spiral into chaos, the party could only watch on in horror as Grinner's teeth began to elongate, his eyes turning yellow. Quick intervention from Luther and Jonor helped prevent the transformation progressing further, however. While all this was going on, Killian and Tithla had a visitor, a strange pale elf named Calathard, who was convinced that Tithla was in fact a long-lost companion of his, Tanya. Despite some confusion, the situation was eventually teased out, Calathard making his way into the abbot's study in the hopes of locating him. Theo, who pretended to be the abbot but rolled a natural 1 for his deception check, was able to learn that Calathard and Rictavio had come to Barovia together sometime in the past, and after a little back and forth, revealed where Calathard could start his search for Rictavio. Meanwhile, Killian attempted to beseech Kelemvor for assistance, his god, only to find another voice offering him all he could ever want in exchange for the blood of a spellcaster. Jonor and the abbot headed up the spiral wooden staircase to the floor above, with gentle soft music filling the air. A raven-haired woman sat playing an ornate golden harp. Apart from the series of scars crisscrossing her, she would have been a perfect match for Irina. Jonor had some questions about this and revealed to the abbot he knew the real Irina and that she was back in Vallaki. The abbot immediately took off, claiming Irina was the bargaining chip he needed to escape these lands, offering to take the party with him. It was decided the abbot shouldn't be going alone to collect Irina, so Theo accompanied him in roach form, their journey interrupted briefly by an airborne attack. Arriving in the town of Vallaki at the dead of night, Theo and the abbot barged into the burgomaster's manor, startling Aasimar. Sensing something wrong, Theo rushed up the stairs to find a ghostly form trying to beckon Irina to the window. We left off last session as Theo tackled Irina out of the way, breaking whatever spell she was under, as he turned to the figure and said, "Hello, Sergei." And that is pretty much where we left off last session. Theo, as you stand in the hallway, you were standing in the room looking out the window while Irina quickly got changed out of her night clothes and into some traveling clothes. Aasimar also in the room with you, helping Irina find the things that she needs, rushing out, grabbing a cloak, coming back. She goes, I need my boots, Aasimar, boots. Not these, I need my walking boots. Aasimar sort of going, yep, and rushing downstairs to go and find them. While all of this is going on, the abbot stands in the hallway, his eyes still very much taking in Irina. Almost with a hunger is the best way to describe it. A feeling of intensity still coming from him, but also a look of disbelief, as if he really can't quite believe what he's seeing as he stares at her. Theo, It only takes Irina about 2 or 3 minutes to fully get changed, getting into her traveling clothes, very similar to the ones that you actually saw her wearing for part of the journey from Barovia to Vallaki. Very utilitarian tunic and cloak, the cloak wrapped around her with a fur-lined collar on the inside with many, many pockets stashed away inside. She also straps her short sword to her waist, as well as a hand crossbow to her back as well, underneath the cloak, so that it's positioned just by her arm, so that she can sort of just reach in and pull it out when she needs. A small quiver of bolts goes at her belt as well, along with a satchel, a traveling satchel on her back, which you see her take a few potions from a cabinet, 2 red and 1 sort of slight bluish one, which she packs into the bag, stuffing straw around to help keep them safe. As she finishes getting ready, she turns towards you, sliding the short sword into the scabbard, and with a click, smiles. Well, I'm all ready. That is everything I needed to get prepared. You said that you would explain more once I was dressed. I am dressed. Shall we head downstairs and you can talk me through what is going on?
Yes, let's head downstairs. I think we need a chat, and I also need some information from you and your brother. So let us head downstairs. Abbot, would you care to join us?
Of course, I'm not letting this woman out of my sight.
Please be less creepy.
We lost the last bit of that, sorry, Has.
I said, please be less creepy, but let us go.
Perfect. As the 4 of you head downstairs, you can see Ismark rushing into the kitchen ahead of you, into the dining room kitchen area, quickly sweeping aside some places to get the seats ready and have the table free in front before gesturing for everyone to take a seat, before he takes a seat at the table as well. You watch as he sort of like rubs his temple and goes, I feel like we should probably start with question number 1. What was that thing you saw outside the window, Theo? You called it Sergei? Do you know this thing, this creature? This apparition?
I fortunately have not made his acquaintance before, but before I say more, the guards and things that are around here, do you trust them? Is it better if what I have to say is overheard by...
Oh, you guys are alone in the room. The doors... Sorry, I should have gone into more detail.
I think there'll be some guards floating around the...
Yeah, moving around the actual space itself. But Ismark has actually closed off the doors into this kitchen area, giving you guys a bit of privacy. Standing at the door, keeping watch, is Sergeant Amelia, who gives you a bit of a salute as you walk past, bit of a smile, and then an up and down of the Abbot, as he just stands there following Irina, eyes wide watching her, and then looks back at you quizzically, and then places a hand on her short sword.
It is okay, Sergeant Amelia. He's creepy but harmless, kind of like your uncle at a party kind of thing. Yeah,
actually that's about right. Yeah, alright, fair enough. I'll keep an eye on him then, make sure he doesn't get any alcohol in him. He was a mean bastard when he had a drink.
I suspect the Abbot would be much the same. Please make sure we are not interrupted and make sure no one can overhear what we are to say within this room.
Of course. Any exceptions to that? Any of your crew? You said they weren't showing up, but I know you tend to sort of pop up when I least expect it, so should I be prepared to let some other you fuckers through the door?
Actually, at this stage, I think if any one of them were to show up, it is best to deny them entry.
Right, okay. What about that soldier mate of yours? Smiler. She gives a bit of a wink.
No, the smiley one, if any of my companions are to join us this evening, I suspect it would be an imposter, so please do not try to stop them, but immediately alert me that they are there.
Done. I'll call out the name really loudly. Seems fair.
I head on into the room.
Perfect. Yeah, as you all take a seat, you can see Ismark just like rubbing his temples and going, that creature, that apparition, what was that? I've never seen anything like it. You knew its name. It reacted to you.
It did, yes. But before I tell this tale, first I need to know how it is you and your father came to find Irina. I understand she is a adopted sibling of yours. She's not your sister by birth.
You watch as Ismark, almost deer in the headlights, kind of freezes and looks over at Irina, and you can see she kind of stiffens a bit before sort of turning to Ismark, and she goes, I know you don't like to acknowledge that I am not your blood, Ismark, but if they think this is important, I think we should talk to them about this. This like we can trust Theo. We've traveled with him for a while. We have seen all the good that they want to accomplish. I think we can trust Theo. Ismark slowly nods and then grimaces a little bit. Look, you have to understand, I was really young at the time. And Father didn't like to speak of it at all. He said that it wasn't important, that Irina was his daughter, that I was his son, and how that happened was irrelevant. But I can tell you what I do know. Our father found Irina by Lake Bartok. She was swaddled, barely a year old. Young, very young. Wrapped up in a woolen blanket. He said he'd never seen the make. This was unique. She had a small pouch clutched in her hand. And inside was the necklace that she wears, the silver necklace. You watch as Irina reaches below her cloak and pulls out that half-moon necklace that you've seen before, that you've seen her wear way back when you first met her, before tucking it back away again. Apart from that, there was nothing else. She was just abandoned by the lakeside. Father said he heard her cries, went to investigate. There she was, a young child calling out for her mother or father, just abandoned there.
You didn't happen to keep the blanket she was swaddled in, did you?
I have no idea what Father did with it. Irina, did Father ever talk to you about this? You watch as Irina nods. I still have the blanket. I have half fashioned it into a cloak. It's obviously quite small. I wore it a lot as a child. You probably wouldn't have recognized it. I did dye it later on before Mother passed. We dyed it a much nicer color of light blue. But I still have it somewhere. I think it's back in the house in Barovia. It'd be somewhere there.
Okay.
Somewhere in a closet or a cupboard somewhere. We never threw it out.
That is good to know that it would still be there. Anything that we could learn.
There's no markings on it. There's no insignias. Nothing. Trust me. I've looked. I've often held the blanket and looked for anything that could be on it.
Then what made it unique that your father would comment so?
The wool. It was very resistant to cuts and to reshape it into a cloak. We actually weren't even able to cut the material. We had to. Pushing even a needle through even slightly was an effort. We ended up having to get the blacksmith to hammer through the pin used to help seal the cloak over the neck.
Does that kind of material remind Theo of anything that he would have seen before?
Yeah, could I get you to make me a nature or arcana check, your choice?
They're all the same.
It very well may do remind Theo of something.
I'll go nature.
Love
Probably
nature.
doesn't.
Ooh, that's a 5. Theo, some sort of tough wool.
Bingo.
Probably from an iron sheep. Nah, you've got no idea.
Isn't that steel wool?
Yeah, steel wool. Yeah. Good for cleaning sinks.
All right. Okay. Well, I suppose I should begin as the beginnings. Then you both owed the context for tonight's visit. I assume you're aware of the ruler of the land.
They both nod, giving you a bit of a weird look.
1, 2, 3, 4. Vaughn.
We are aware of the immortal ruler, the Count.
Are you aware of his brother?
His brother?
You just met him.
You watch as Ismark's eyes go wide. Irina just looks around confused. She didn't see the figure at all. Whatever spell effect had her under, she didn't even see it. Ismark's eyes go wide as he hears this and he looks around. How on earth can he? Oh God. Sorry, oh gods.
Yes, where one brother found immortality, the other found it in another way, it would seem. But if I'm piecing together the fragments I have correctly, and the Abbot can fill in the gap here. I believe long ago, back before they were even immortal, they had a girl in their lives. I assume they quarreled over her, and she looked, as far as we can tell, exactly like Aina.
Sorry, this is a lot to take in. So, the Count's brother, he's somehow still alive. I'm guessing some sort of curse, same as the Count's immortality, but at the price of your humanity.
I suspect soul in his case, but yes.
Yes, he looks like some sort of ghost or spectre. What on earth could he want with Irina? What, just because she looks like a girl they once loved? Doesn't make any sense.
Based on how close they look, and the suspicious circumstances of Irina's birth, it may be more than just look like. But whatever it is, and this is conjecture at this point, but I think they have been feuding over this for several hundred to thousands of years, ever since they've been around.
Feuding over Irina?
Well,
or the woman who looks like her?
Continuing the feud that started because of her.
By the hells? What is this messed up family?
Look, it's petty beyond belief, but from what I know of the man, that's not outside the realm of possibility.
I'd heard that some curses carry a mental toll. Is this it? This is the madness. Many have spoken of the madness of the dark. Is this... A Dark One's gift comes with a blessing of madness, is the saying. I'm guessing this is it. Like, this is their madness.
Maybe.
But they think Irina is this woman. But they must know she's been dead for this whole time. Irina was a child, for God's sake. She was a baby when we brought her in. She grew up. She's not this woman.
No, but I don't think that matters to them either or. I think they would either of them would see her as a way to win this stalemate that they've been having.
You watch as the Abbot slowly lowers his hand from sort of like slowly patting back his bald head in that very anxious behavior you've seen him do before, Theo. Actually, probably more Jonor saw that, but I would say that you've seen this kind of nervous tick the Abbot has where he begins to sort of claw away at the skin on his bald head. Probably how he became bald, you would hypothesize.
How long Simpson tearing his hair out every time he gets a child announcement?
Thousands of years of like tearing at your hair will leave you bald, even if you're a Deva. There's some punishment even hair can't get through. You watch as he slowly lowers his hand and places it on the table. Quietly, calmly, but the attention of Irina, Ismark, and yourself is drawn to him nonetheless. There's this sense of intensity still emanating from him. It is not that you just look like her, my dear. I suspect there is a part of her in you. Souls in this land, they are trapped. They do not leave. Nothing leaves this place without the say-so of those two. It is possible that you carry a bit of her within you. Have you ever had thoughts that did not seem like your own? Urges that you could not explain? Feelings that felt unnatural or alien to you? Irina sort of shakes her head slowly, almost a little bit afraid as she hears this, and then turns to you, Theo, and to Ismark. No, I've never felt like this. No, this is not what I have experienced. Well, that was almost South African. How did I do that? I normally can't do a South African accent. I can't do that normally. How have I done this? No, that is not what I have experienced. This is not what I... No, it is not possible. It is the madness, as Ismark said. I just look like her. It is possible. You can have people who look the same after generations. Maybe I am related to her. I cannot be her. I'm not her. Not even a part of me.
Can I insight check her protesting a bit too much about not having those feelings?
Whoa, Theo doth think she protests too much.
Yes,
of course
indeed.
She can.
Come on!
9. Theo. Doesn't sound like she's... sounds legit.
Abbot, is there any chance you are wrong? She says she does not feel these foreign feelings.
You better pray for our sakes that I am not wrong. that she is exactly who we think she is. Because if she is not, and we announce her to either of them, there will be consequences beyond what I can shelter you from.
Do they react to the
Yeah, both of them obviously react to that. You see Ismark sort of like look a bit confused and look at you. Irina, like still sort of reeling from this, doesn't react as much. But you see as, you watch as Ismark kind of like squints a little bit as he hears this and turns towards you and gives you a very questioning gaze.
I was going to leave this as a decision for Irina to make herself. But since the Abbot so kindly brought it up, at the Abbey in Kresk, we can keep her safe for a time. The grounds there is hallowed land from another realm. It cannot be set foot on by either of them, at least in the short term. But ultimately, they will find Irina, and the Abbot and I have talked, and all the others have talked, and we are all in complete unanimous agreement that
one of them already has that creature, that Sergei you called him.
Exactly. So the plan.
Hang on, how has he found her and the other one hasn't? How has the Count not noticed her? We didn't even know about Sergei.
The fact that he found her is baffling to me. I do not know how, but
no. But how has the Count not realized? We lived in the shadow of his castle our entire lives. There's no way he does not know about her. Surely, right? How could he not?
I mean,
we lived not yards from his castle, the town of Barovia.
These guys were there when we met Damo, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
Actually, now that I think about it, you have in fact met him.
I'm sorry, what?
Remember that Damien character we met in the woods?
The hunter.
Yes.
He was quite nice. He seems very friendly.
Very friendly man. But
Jacob shaking his head.
He'll abandon you.
Yes, he will abandon you and break your heart because he is in fact the Count.
I had conversations with him. I spoke with him at length. He asked questions about my childhood, about growing up in Barovia.
So he does know that you are here. Unfortunately, Abbot, I forgot this part.
You watch as the Abbot, almost silently, as you turn back to say, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Abbot," you can see bloody furrows gouge through his scalp as he slowly rakes his claws back across his bald head, eyes wide.
Look, it's unfortunate, but my only assumption is therefore that he has some kind of plan for you. But that does not change what we must do. It just changes how urgent it is. We must get you to Kresk, to the Abbey at Kresk. There you'll be safe. There, we already have a unfortunate invitation to the Count's dinner party in the coming evenings. There, we will tell him that we have you and you are there, and we will make a bargain with him. We have credible, as truly insane as this sounds, credible evidence to suggest that he is in fact the better of the two.
I obviously have a number of follow-up questions, but I don't think it's fair for me to ask them before Irina has a chance to talk.
Before either of you say anything to what is undoubtedly sounds like the shittest plan you've ever heard, we came to this conclusion because it is our only option. Either they find you and we have no bargain, or we offer you to the one that is most likely to treat you better, and we get something for the people of Barovia in return.
My sister is not a bargaining chip. There's no trade happening.
I'm afraid it's either she becomes a bargaining chip and we talk to the Count and try and get him to clear out all of the monsters and allow this place to become less of a grimy shithole.
No, And then Irina.
Anyway, these are the two options. Either we get something from it, or we get nothing from it. Either way, she either ends up with him or the Skeletor.
Skeletor. No, there's no way I... And then Irina holds up a hand, and you watch as Ismark falls silent. Irina goes, Ismark, I love you. But this is my choice to make, my fate to determine. Shouting at Theo is not going to help. It's not his fault. It's this place. It's always been this place. And if there is something I can do to make it better, something I can do to help the people of these lands, just like you have done in this town, just like we have done, I would like it. If I have to die, or I have to be taken, I have to be claimed in this, whatever this competition is between them, I would like it to mean something that I choose on my terms. Theo, thank you for telling us all of this. I know this cannot have been easy, holding this and knowing this. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for telling us. Thank you for coming straight here to tell me, and for saving me from that creature.
No, of course. You are our friend. We wouldn't have been bringing you this option if it wasn't the only thing we could think of. I know it is a tough choice. I was hoping to use the choice while you were safe at Kresgen of slightly clearer frame of mind, and yes, is Marco away from me. I knew what your reaction would be to this. Is natural. If it was Tithla, I would have said much the same thing.
But it's not, is it?
Jonor, he has a history of this, so he could get traded, but no, it is not, and thus it is your and Irina's cross to bear here. I'm aware we are asking you to bear all of the brunt of this, but at least if we go in bargaining, we can get better living conditions for her. Maybe she can still come visit, and we can get better living conditions for the entire realm. Whereas if one of them takes her, she will be tucked away as at best an ornament until she dies. We'll never see sunlight again, and this place will never get better.
How are we at this point? This is what I used to believe, that we had no good options, that everything we had to do had to be a sacrifice. But you and your companions taught me better. You taught me that there was no compromise to be made, that we could fight for what we believed in, fight for what we thought was right. And we did. We succeeded here in Vallaki. Why is this different? I don't understand. Why are you rolling over on this? Because what? She's not your companion, not your... No, she's my sister. I am not rolling over on this. There is another way, and I will find it, no matter what it takes.
The only other way is to fight, and at this point, to fight would be to die. We tried to fight Damien, the Count, outside of Kresk. We tried. 2 of us almost died. Killian is still at roughly a third of his total health.
A third of the man he once was.
He can Grinner got punched so hard, his liver was destroyed, and for no other reason was that liver destroyed. They've only just recovered thanks to the help of Killian still needs to be healed. We tried the option of fighting first. We cannot beat him. We definitely could not beat Sergei. He is powerful beyond what we could imagine. Both of them. They're powerful enough to hold a realm enslaved, so even souls cannot escape to the afterlife. We tried this, Mark. There is no bloodless coup that we could have here. If you have another idea, we are happy to seek alternatives. But
any idea is better than this. I will think of a better idea than this.
This way, she lives, and everyone lives better. Otherwise,
you reckon she'll live? You genuinely believe they won't turn her into a creature like themselves?
Look, there is one thing that I know about Zegat, and is that if he agrees to a bargain, he will, 1, try to find any loophole he can to get out of it, but 2 will honor it as it is written. So if we stipulate that she is not to be harmed or killed, she will not be harmed or killed. If we stipulate that she is not to be turned unless she wishes it, then that is what it will be. We just need to write the contract in a way that he cannot wiggle his way out of. And I have some ideas for this.
I had such hope this morning when I woke up.
It is not a hopeless situation. It is bad, yes.
It feels pretty bloody hopeless.
I'm not taking our cattle to slaughter. I will not allow her. I give you my word that I and all of my friends will die before we let any harm come to her beyond the loss of freedom that we are asking to exchange for a better world here.
You watch as Ismark's eyes take on almost a bit of a dangerous glint, and as he looks you dead in the eyes, you can see almost this kind of soft glow of magic about him as he stares you down. Upon my oath, upon my honor, I will hold you to your oath. There will be no harm that befalls her without your blood first spilling.
You have my word.
As Ismark sits back, there's this almost like a soft flash, and as he moves his hand away from the table, you can see a rune has burned itself there in the wood. Ismark hasn't noticed, his eyes have not moved from you, but your passive perception I think is a 14 or 15, so you definitely... 16. Definitely notice.
I will do you one better. Not only will I allow no harm to come to her, I will also allow her the ultimate choice in all of this. If she says no, it is no, and I guess we died fighting them.
I will bind you to those words, Theo. You and your companions know this.
I speak with absolute authority for all of them.
Brilliant. Yeah, he just sort of falls a bit silent as Arena places a hand on his forearm and then looks down at the rune and then looks up at you and gives you a bit of a concerned look before looking at him. And as her eyes look down at the rune, he kind of startles, looks down and goes, "Oh, sorry, I must have scratched that in the table. Sorry."
Do you have a history of magic in your life or in
magic?
Your
Are you kidding me? No. No, we're not. We don't have magic.
Would I have known what happened with the eyes and all of that?
Can you make me an Arcana check, please? Let's pray this one goes well, otherwise I'm going to have to hand you a fun coin. Been a while since we handed out a fun coin. I think I'm handing out another one, though, from the sounds of it. What is it? I can't see it yet. It hasn't come through.
Fucking 9.
Isn't that the insight check from before, or did you roll another one?
That's the Arcana check. Another 9.
Oh, it hasn't come through for me yet, but I will trust you. That is a real shame. I offer you a free reroll of a dice for a skill check, ability check, or saving throw as a fun coin for 3 fails in a row, 3 rolls under 5. That is rough, buddy. Or 5 or under. That's rough. You don't know. So he clearly, whatever it was, he has no idea either. Some sort of magic shit.
Well, it came up with when you said that oath, so it must be pretty serious. So you have my word. I know this is a lot, but me and my friends have not let you down yet. And if we are to let you down here, I promise it will be the last thing we do.
Damn right it will be.
I only ask that if we die, you must kill Raspip.
Raspip? What, the gnome? The one that wiped out the Wachters?
That would be my unfinished business that must be taken care of.
Why? Without him, we wouldn't have been able to drive the Wachters or the Burgomaster out of this town. That gnome's a bloody hero.
It's like, no. Does he know it's pure evil?
He doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. No, his opinion on Raspit would be whatever you told him, which means that he probably
Should
is
we
like,
stop construction on the statue?
we're up to the top of the staff. We've already finished him seated in place with the heads of the walkers burning at his feet.
The pile of walkers.
Yeah, the oil alone to keep those fires burning in those statues is going to cost Vallaki hundreds of silver every year. To brew this special ethanol ourselves just to keep the fires burning.
But yes, I think it is best, given we now know both of them know where she is, that we get her back to the Abbey. I also hate to say this, Ismark, but I also think it's best if you stay here.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen, obviously.
You as the Burgomaster, you have a responsibility to the people of Vallaki.
Fuck Vallaki. Irina, again, places a hand on his shoulder and goes, Ismark, no, you are upset. I know you are worried about me, but you need to stay here. This is your place. And to be honest, I think I'm going to have to make some hard decisions. I love you so much, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make them if you're there with me. I don't think you're going to let me make the decisions I need to make if you're there with me. I need you to stay. No, you don't mean that. No, no, of course I'm coming with you. Ismark, please. I'll be safe in the chapel. They said the ground is consecrated. Neither of them can get across. It is the only safe place for me. Correct? She looks back towards the Abbot and you, Theo.
Yes, this is the best we can do at this time.
Then
if he finds you here, there's nowhere in this realm that he couldn't find you, except for the Abbey.
Then I will have to stay there until such time as I am able to leave. It's the only place I am safe. How do we get there? Quickly. It sounds like we need to move fast. I think we need to be very quick.
Well, we flew here on the Abbot, but I don't think he can fly us both back. Yes,
Yeah.
the Abbot has wings. This was a new development for me too. I think he is some kind of bird person, perhaps an Arakokra.
I am a divine servant of Lysander himself. I am not a bird person.
Bird culture, that's
I'm empowered with Lysander's holy light. It allows me to travel across the sky, his domain of sky. But I must admit, night is not when my power waxes strongest. It would be best if we could... If I was to try and fly you back tonight, I would most certainly be struggling if we were to do it in the nighttime. It would be best to wait for day, when the light can give me some of my strength back.
I thought you said you had another way to get back. You mentioned another way to get back. It was not by flying with the spooky bats.
I do, but you're not going to like it.
What is it?
You watch as the Abbot reaches out a hand to take Irina's hand. My dear. And as he places
you tell his words first, not demonstration.
Can you make me a persuasion check, please?
I might actually be able to do.
He is dedicated to his course of action. This is his only way of escape.
Oh.
22.
That I can do.
He pauses for a moment. And then looks back towards you. My magic, if I could make her lighter, not weigh as much by changing her form, could carry you and her back together at the same time.
Okay. What did you turn her into?
The magic, as you have seen, can be chaotic. We must pray for Lysander's guidance in this, that I will be able to hold the magic and keep it steady.
And you could turn her back?
With Lysander's blessing, yeah.
Okay, what do you think is the greater risks then? The magic or wait until tomorrow? Given one of them already knows where she is, and the second one already knows that she is at least in Vallaki.
I don't know. Both carry risks. But I believe this is the right path. Lysander will bless us in this, and I will be successful with the magic. I have no doubt. Lysander will guide my hands.
Arena, do you trust Broken Angel's god magic, or a night here where we could get attacked by essentially the two gods of this realm? Your choice. Up to you.
You watch.
Truthfully, I think magic both go very right and very, very poorly. So at this point, I think it's kind of a coin flip on if you get, turned into a cat or a blobfish that got pulled out of the water far too quickly.
You watch as Irina kind of pauses for a second and then lets out this chuckle. I say we stay here. If the choice is between being touched by whatever magic turns people into a fish, blobfish, that does not sound good. No, no, not that. Not that.
It's crap decision for you, number one of this trip. So if that is your decision, then Abbot, we wait till the morning.
Wait till the morning.
I hope you understand that we cannot leave you unattended until then, given we just had a spooky lich fly like Peter Pan to your window.
I know not of this panned Peter, but I will offer to stand guard, protect this wonderful woman, keep her safe from the dangers of the night.
Very good. I think that's a good plan. And do you have a basement or something here that would be a bit more secure, less entrances?
Ismark nods, sort of a little bit shell-shocked by what's going on and like all of the things he's just learned, sort of nods and then goes, yes, perhaps it's best if we all set up in the basement. I'll get the guards to fetch some mattresses and some blankets, and we'll rest down there tonight, all of us together. I'm not leaving you alone with her.
No, of course.
Creepy man. As he stares
okay,
at the
yes. No, that is a fair call. Look, we need him, but he is very creepy.
Perfect. With that, the four of you make your way down to the cellar, guards fetch mattresses. We're going to jump back to Grinner, Jonor, Tithla, and Luther and Killian. Basically, everyone else who got left behind when Theo made this call. As the five of you, Grinner, where we left off, you were still sort of recovering from the incident, the liver transplantation that you underwent at the hands of the Abbot. Jonor, you had rushed downstairs after spending some time with the Abbot upstairs. We last left you sort of seated on the bed next to Tithla, having a bit of chat to her. Luther and Killian lying in bed next to Tithla, and Luther sort of pacing the halls, looking around, very, very uneasy about all of this, being very reluctant to let Theo just fly off with the Abbot in roach form. I hand over to all of you. Grinner, I'd say probably at this point, you've heard a commotion in the antechamber where the hospital beds are located. Something's been going on there, and it suddenly has fallen quiet. I'd say at this point, Grinner, your natural curiosity, or at least your danger sense of things being too quiet, has finally kicked back in again, as the sounds of the kerfuffle and the talking all dies down to a soft hubbub.
Am I aware of any of the arena stuff?
No. The only thing you heard was the Abbot rushing down saying, I need to leave at once, and then some sort of conversation going on between some of the other characters outside. Luther sounding very dismissive of whatever plan was being made. You could hear that tone in Luther's voice, and then the sound of wings suddenly flapping and a curse from Luther, and that's the last you heard.
Okay. I'd imagine Grinner's actually spent a lot of this time just on the floor, on the flagstones, trying to get his head right about Rose and Thorn. He'll probably just look down at the symbol on his hand, touch it gently, slowly get to his feet and mosey on out to the others, just kind of very subdued Grinner at the moment.
as you wander out, Jonor and Tithla. Jonor, you were seated on the edge of Tithla's bed. Tithla, you sort of drifted off to sleep right as the others came barging back in, shouting and going on. And a lot of noise when you're trying to recover from, frankly, horrific wounds. And also, Jonor talked about like popping a pimple on your like upper like clavicle, and then he said it was a scale, and you can't see it, but you can feel it as you like touch this little scaly thing on your left collarbone. It's a single scale you can feel.
Jonor, you know you're not meant to you're not meant to pop it. You're meant to just leave it. There's an ointment. You put it on there. You go to sleep, and it's better the next day.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to debate, is this like a scab or is it a pimple? Because one's let be and the other one is take off, so, you know.
Which one of those is take off? They're both let be.
Well, the pimple eventually is get rid of. It's kind of an unusual one.
Okay.
Where does snake skin come into this? Like, it's a little reptilian scale thing.
Okay. One, leave the medical advice to us. Okay? I don't come into your business telling you how to do your little fancy circles, okay?
Well, I think you're actually a spellcaster, so I'm very happy to hear all the things.
Well, don't take the moral high ground now, okay? That's not fun either.
I'm sure there's something kind of reflective around here, and I presume as Grinner like walks in from the other room. Hey, Grinner, have you seen like a mirror or anything over there? In the surgery room?
I wasn't exactly looking around too much, mate. I've been a little distracted. Why? What do you want mirror for?
Looking at him, just sort of stumble out, look back at Tithla with her little wound. You know, it's probably not as actually big of a problem. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. It's all... I mean, everything seems to be fairly healed up, except I keep biting my fucking tongue and everything smells a little funny.
Ooh. And you look at your forearms. They're like kind of like a mammoth cloak.
Well, I mean, I always was a bit hairy, but yeah, look, it's a bit more than usual. We need it. Where are the others?
Well, we've got Theo and the Abbot flew away.
What do you mean?
And I think Luther's just down the corridor.
You can see Luther pacing at the end of the corridor, looking very, very distressed. A moment later, you watch as Killian wanders back in, almost bumps into him, looking distracted. Sort of like goes, sorry, and then walks past. And then as Killian sees you guys, he sort of gives you a little wave and then wanders over.
All right.
Hey, Luther's pissed. All okay?
So there's actually been a bit of a development in like the last 5 minutes. So just listen to the harp sort of while I'm coming from upstairs. Can you hear that harp playing?
Yeah, I can. It was louder over by the stairs. It's hard to hear in here. I don't know if you can hear it, Grinner.
Actually,
Grinner, you can definitely hear it. It's loud, almost.
I went up there with the Abbot just to have a conversation with him, and I noticed there was this lady that looked like almost identical to Arena. And the thing is that she was constructed, I think, as the Abbot said, a flesh golem to try and create another Arena as a way of
what the fuck for?
As a way of like convincing the Count that he has a copy of her, and now he wants to go collect Arena from Vallaki. And basically, he was going to do this regardless, and Theo managed to. We all sort of convinced him that he has to let Theo go with him, and let Arena make a decision for herself about what her future is to be.
What? How? What? No, hold on. What? What's Arena got to do with anything?
I thought I was pretty clear. So the big boys in this land want Arena, and we're it's kind of a weird thing. Apparently, Arena is not entirely their Irina we know. She's actually kind of a girl from previous. She's like reborn again, and the previous girl was really beloved by the people that run this land, and they're trying to collect her again.
What,
like a Pokemon?
Arena?
Sorry, carry on.
Our Arena. She.
Yeah,
What, she got bored again or some shit? Is that a thing?
Well, that's what the Abbot said. I've never heard of that kind of magic of someone just reincarnating. I've not personally come across that or heard of the studies, but yeah, that's what they want. They want to grab her and make her their own. But I don't know what they want with her, actually.
Jonor, could you make me an Arcana or a History check to see if you have come across any studies about reincarnation?
Sure.
Because it's possible you actually have.
No,
20! Jonor, in your studies to understand the origins of good and evil, you have read 2 seminal papers in particular discussing how a soul, like a good soul that passes and then is brought back or reincarnated, doesn't always come back as a good soul. This idea that good and evil aren't inherent to who you are. They're an expression of the choices you make throughout the course of your life. And so, like, the knowledge that souls can sometimes be brought back isn't a crazy novel idea to you. The fact that it's from so long ago, though, is. There is a spell that can be used, reincarnate, that can bring someone back if they've died fairly recently. But from what you understand, this isn't the same. This is like hundreds, if not thousands of years. Something about Barovia, something about the way magic works here, something's different about that. And as you kind of ponder on that, you do remember hearing from the Vistani way, way back that nothing escapes Barovia. And at this moment, with a 20, Jonor, it clicks. When someone dies, their soul moves on to another plane of existence, depending on their beliefs, their choices, a whole slew of things. Pacts that they might have made with a warlock patron, or deals they'd made with their gods. Their souls move on to somewhere else. But if that soul couldn't leave, if it was kept trapped within the plane, it's possible someone could be brought back after any amount of time.
Having those thoughts roll over, I glance over to Tithla. How aware is she? Is she?
Oh, Tithla's awake.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean she's aware.
Tithla, roll me a D100, Tithla. Let's see how aware you are.
Yeah, that's fair though.
Are you actually rolling? You don't have to roll it.
That's a
16.
Not aware.
I was kidding.
Grinner, you okay?
Not really.
What'd you do?
What do you mean?
Well, yeah,
His eyes are yellow, Tithla.
I don't want to be one to comment on somebody's physical appearance, especially not after what I've just gone through the last couple of weeks and how kind all of you have been to me about it. You know what? I'm not going to say anything. Are you sure you're okay?
I'm trying to work it out. The Abbot made a horrible mistake, and it's caused some problems to Rose. But we're going to get that
What's going on with Rose?
Well, she looks like a wolf now.
She takes her steaks rare, Tithla. She takes her steaks rare, Tithla.
Is there anything we can do? How can we fix it? That's not fair. That's not nice.
I don't know. We're going to have to work that out, love. I feel.
Okay. I'll go and find some herbs and see if that helps.
They're dead, Tithla. I don't think that's going to.
But then how did she change?
I don't know.
Something you that made her change. So maybe some herbs to you will make her fix back.
I don't know what it is, but the phrase "they're dead, Tithla" really got me. It was good. It's really funny. They're dead, Tithla. Fucking plants aren't gonna do nothing.
Look, you give it a go, love. I guess. Yeah.
Okay. And Tithla runs out the door.
Cool. Tithla, we're going to deal with you first. As you rush towards the entrance to the hospital wing, you bump into Luther, who is currently pacing a little bit back and forth, looking pissed is the word to describe it. As you rush up and sort of like he stops and sees you, goes, hey, no, you get back to bed. You're hurt. I don't care what mischief you're getting up to. You go back to bed, please.
It's not mischief, it's helping.
Jared's throwing text to the Facebook chat for what
I'm
he wants
pulling
to
it
do.
open right now. Let's have a quick peekaroo. All right, so of course my messenger's not working at the time I need it to tell me what he's thinking. So what does Jared say? Let me quickly read it so we can get it right. Luther realizing the Abbey is consecrated ground. Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, as you rush up, you can see. In fact, I retcon that a little bit. As you rush up to you can see that Luther has moved into the chapel area where Killian had actually walked away before. At the moment, he's seated on one of the old stone benches. You can see he looks very contemplative, thinking, almost like he looks like he's asleep, eyes closed, deep in thought, head back a little bit, occasionally sort of like mouth moving wordlessly and soundlessly as he mutters under his breath. And as you step in, the sound of your feet sort of echoing across the stone floor, he sort of startles awake. Not awake, but startles open, eyes open, and looks at you and goes, "Oh, Tithla, no, hey, whoa, you go back to bed. You're hurt."
Yes, I need your help.
What are we doing?
We have to go and find some herbs. We've got to help fix Rose.
I don't think herbs are gonna help Tithla. She's dead. I couldn't resist. Sorry.
I feel like I've had this conversation before. What's the word?
Look. I don't think ghosts. I don't think you can give herbs to ghosts, Tithla.
Did you think that changing a liver of Grinner was going to change a ghost into a werewolf before? Maybe there are some things we don't know. So why don't we just try something, or we can sit in the corner and just shut our eyes and go to sleep?
I wasn't sleeping, trying to reflect on events and come up with a plan of action. Given that one of our number has just flown off with some element we don't really know that well. 2, this is a big monastery full of books on healing. I'm guessing at some point, right? The Abbot's study. That's all that's a books in there.
I'm not a big on reader, okay?
Okay, but why don't we, rather than go and... what herbs would you get to help someone?
I don't know, I was just going to see what was there.
Yeah, can I offer an alternative that's going to save you time and also hopefully stop you catching some sort of, like, chill or illness while you forage around?
I felt better in the last week and a half.
Yeah, but it's also freezing out there. Tithla, it is snowing. Really gonna?
Well,
you haven't got your shoes on.
You're right. I'll go put my shoes on.
Before you do that, why don't we have a quick look through the books? Maybe there's a book that has information.
It's so boring.
Okay, but also really helpful and will allow us to find something that will help Grinner and maybe one of the ghosts that haunts him.
Boring.
I was already going to go check on this. I was thinking through how we could best deal with this, and I think if we're going to find that information anywhere, it'll be here somewhere.
Fine, but if we don't find anything in the morning, I get to go look for herbs.
Yeah, if you're properly rugged up, sure.
No deal.
Go tell Jonor. Jonor loves books.
Okay. Jonor!
Tithla
I'll come tell him as well. I'll come look through. I'll come help as well.
Tithla just stands and shouts at Jonor.
Jonor! Jonor! Books!
Where are the books?
Follow my voice. Voice.
Grinner, I'm gonna have to get back to this soul discussion in a moment. There's books.
That's all right. Now that you've filled me in on everything that was going on with Irina while Tithla ran off, I'm totally across the whole situation there.
As one of us is.
Happy to hear it.
Jonor, as you begin making your way, you can see Luther shaking his head, walking towards you and going, No, the books aren't, that's just Snow Chapel. I was just having a moment there. The books are in the Abbot's study. They're behind you. It's where Grinner was just before, where the Abbot was doing the stuff.
Outside it is!
No.
Tithla, you're really good at finding things. Can you help me find the right book? That'd be really helpful.
Oh, that's
I feel like you're trying to manipulate me here, but I'm going to try it anyway.
Was that an insight from you?
No. It's just your face is very, very simple. It's the same as when you tried to buy me. You're just trying to get something for nothing.
I'm just not going
Except you were trying to spend money and get something for something, but now you just
could have been better off. The family could have had an improved chimney or something, but okay.
And what you're saying, they would have had a better life without me around?
Well, they would have had you anyway. Luther, I'm just going to leave her. I'm going back to Grinner.
I realised that Jared messaged me. I forgot that he'd actually dropped the slight American accent way back when he first revealed who he was. So I've been using the wrong accent this whole time, just because that's the one I've associated with Luther, because that's what he was using for most of it. I will try and drop into the slight proper accent. Yeah, I think maybe we should have a bit of a look through these books, Jonor, and see what we can find. I'm sure there's information here that will be relevant to our situation, and I obviously... It's important to me that Grinner's okay, and we reverse whatever this is that's been done to him and his ghost children.
Hey, Jonor.
Rose and Thorn.
Jonor stops, stands, and slowly turns his head over towards Tithla.
Want to race?
Yeah.
Say goodbye the answer first. 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, perfect.
Tithla just grabs a book.
Grinner,
that's in front of her.
Grinner, Jonor, Tithla, and Luther all walk past you. Luther, as he walks past, placing a hand on your shoulder. It's all right, Grinner. We'll look into this. Don't you worry. We'll find the answer. It'll be in here somewhere.
I know. I trust you. Look,
do you want to come help?
No, look, my head's still not in the right spot. I think I just need to go get my head sorted. I'm going to go for a little walk. I'll meet you guys back in here.
I know you've got a new liver, Grinner,
yeah.
but you don't need to take it for a test drive just yet. If that's what you would.
No. I'm off to grog. I still swear by what I said earlier. I'm not. I just need a minute. I think.
Do you want to talk about this at all? Or would it be best if I go help the others?
We need to work out what's going on. The best thing that we can do right now is help Rose. I think.
I agree. We can't. Whatever's happened to her, we need to reverse it as soon as possible. I will do everything I can to do that.
No, I know, mate. I know. I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder, and then eyes are just kind of drift off
like that,
just like that. And I'll just kind of wander off out towards the front of the main abbey entrance, I think.
Alrighty. Tithla and Jonor and Luther. I'll pull open Luther's character sheet. I'm gonna get
Tithla mutters under her voice, "Grinner's allowed to go for a walk."
Fucking knew that was coming. Fucking knew that was coming. I was gonna try and get ahead of it before you could say that. You still managed to get past that. I would like all three of you to roll, please, an investigation check.
Can I roll a medicine check?
I will allow it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Roll for Luther. Yeah, medicine or investigation.
19.
This is his jam, Jonor.
This is
reading
Jonor's
books of his topic. I'm gonna ask if he can do it quite well.
I will offer you if you would prefer an Arcana check. Would that be a better? Because this is magic, and Arcana would fall into this because you're looking for specific magic. Would you prefer that, or would you like a advantage on investigation?
I'm just gonna go investigation again.
Alrighty, no dramas at all. I will roll an investigation check. Let's have a peekaroo. Okay, 20 for investigation for Jonor, 19 for investigation for Tithla.
Medicine.
Medicine, sorry. And for Luther, it's a 12. I kind of like the idea of Luther. Obviously, like to you guys, to everyone but Grinner, Luther's kind of like not revealing how much of a connection he has to Grinner. He's kind of playing it a bit more casual. I mean, like joking about the ghost children, but he really does care about Rose and Thorn. Knowing their connection to Grinner, having had a conversation with them, I'm going to say Luther's actually pretty distracted at the moment. He's finding it just very hard to go through and locate information. You can see he's flicking through the books, but every so often he kind of pauses for a bit, looks up. There's something on Luther's mind. Something else is taking his attention. But Jonor and Tithla, as the two of you begin pouring through these manuscripts, it becomes clear very quickly that a number of them are very, very old. Probably from the Forgotten Realms, the location where Killian is from, where you suspect the Abbey itself is from. There's discussions of locations. A location called El Terrell, which you've never heard of, but as you focus, Tithla, you think you heard Calathard mention that name when he was talking to Killian, when Killian was lying in bed. Killian, by this point, has gone to sleep. I mean, he is horrifically injured. I think his maximum hit points right now is 15. Killian is as a third of the man he normally is at the moment. Killian's having a well-deserved rest as he tries to not become a vampire. But yeah, as the two of you begin flicking through the books, Jonor, I kind of take your investigation check as you searching maybe more for references to lycanthropy in general, understandings or treatises or investigations, studies into the disease and how it functions. Tithla, you're more looking specifically for a cure, and less just lycanthropy, but more looking for any kind of treatments associated with lycanthropy, with ghosts, with... are there any other search terms Tithla would kind of be looking for as she's going through these books? Like, because Grinner is his fighting style is pretty unique.
Yeah, would she have the association for this being curse?
I would say that there definitely is a sense of this being a type of curse. I mean, you would have heard it referred to as the curse of lycanthropy. So curses in general, breaking curses.
Like transformation, that sort of stuff.
We did do a remove curse and your healing on Killian's wound, actually. So she would have had first-hand experience, not 2 hours ago.
True. Those feelings and senses that she would know firsthand, but Jacob wouldn't know how to describe those sort of things. Just that.
Yeah. Let's do Jonor first. As you begin flipping through the manuscripts, Jonor, you come across a series of tomes that have been handwritten. These look like first edition, no printing press involved, handwritten with ink and quill, bound in this very, very distinct rough parchment, almost as if this was a homemade parchment, wrapped in a leather treated that has given a bit of a waterproof covering. It becomes very clear to you very quickly, Jonor, with a 20, that these are notes that the Abbot himself has taken. Many of them during dissections of many of the various beasts and creatures that call Barovia home. One of the pages, as you flip through it, is a dissection of a Vistani, looking for any reasons why they might be able to leave Barovia. Subject was alive at the beginning of the process, was not at the end. This book, as you flip through it, which was tucked away on one of the back shelves, is disturbing. He has clearly been around for a long time and has been searching for a way out for a longer time, or for just as long. As you flip through this book, I mean, there's just like dissections of werewolves. You can see there's discussions of a subject immediately following the dissection of werewolf, a subject who contracts lycanthropy 2 days after initial implantation, whatever that means. And then there's a detailed description of the curse progressing, and then immediately following that, a dissection of another werewolf.
Open mouth was what my mouth was doing, and I imagine Jonor would have done the same.
Jonor, as you flick through this stuff, it is dark reading. There are detailed sketches of many of the various parts, some of which you recognize, some of which you don't. But as you go along, you can see that, the Abbot he's done a number of experiments to try and figure out a way to get out of here. And as the book goes on, it begins to delve into the area of a flesh golem, the idea of creating a perfect being, he calls it, or the perfect gift, he calls it. And there's descriptions of all the different types of spells required, all the different types of magic, and all the different components of this flesh golem he's going to need to acquire. And right at the back of the book is a torn piece of painting showing a very familiar looking face. This painting looks ancient, old. The ink and paints have begun to peel and scratch, but it is very clearly someone who looks a lot like Irina.
That is a little bit unsettling.
Apart from that, in terms of... Sorry, you go.
I think the things Jonor would have been interested in is basically treatments of lycanthropy, and symptom progression, particularly the symptom progression.
Symptom progression, in this specific case study, symptom progression was pretty fast once it began, and was tied tightly to the lunar cycle. This patient was experimented on 2 days before the full moon. Implantation was 2 days prior to the full moon, and transformation first began at the full moon 2 days later. Symptoms progressed rapidly. It began with initially a heightened aggression, and then physical symptoms began to manifest. Claws replacing fingernails, massive incisors replacing canine teeth, and other wolf-like attributes progressing until the transformation on the next full moon was a complete transformation into a full werewolf. At which point, the notes end and a new section of the book begins, discussing the dissection of a werewolf.
For sure. Yep. Okay, cool.
In terms of cures or preventing, it looks like from these notes and from the Abbot's own hypotheses, you can see scrawled in the margins hypotheses and notes, suggestions for future trials, suggestions for future studies. It looks like from the notes that you can read, once this process has started, it's tied to the lunar cycle. If you can break the curse, if you can block it and prevent it, treat the wound, treat the bite, and provide strong enough healing magic or magic to remove the curse before the lunar cycle completes, there is still a chance.
I imagine he would have been flicking through the pages, and it's when something's so grotesque but you can't stop looking at it, he's like, turning looking, and then like slowly stops and turns to see if Grinner's there, and is like sort of relieved he's not there, like seeing this, and then would have been a bit elated at the end when he came across that. All right, there may be a way to get it before that stage.
Tithla, there is indeed a book on curses. Evard's Curse Primer, 1st edition. An ancient book, probably from the Forgotten Realms. The author, Evard, seems to think very highly of himself. The foreword talks about these spells that he is responsible for creating, including Evard's Black Tentacles.
Boring.
Strange spell you've never heard of before. But as you flick through, you can see that this is indeed a collection of not just curses that you can inflict, but detailed understandings of the origins of different types of curse magic. Curse magic falls under many different types of schools of magic. Bestow Curse, the spell, is the simplest way for a wizard to copy some of the curses that the weave can give. But the real masters of curses, those who live and breathe them, are the hags. Sea hags, night hags, boar hags. They are the true artists when it comes to curses, being able to grant boons and banes in equal measure that provide bizarre and strange effects. Some of which can be horribly disfiguring, some of which can be incredibly subtle and unsettling, but it's an artistry. It's not just the simple wizard's attempt at curses. The spell Remove Curse that a lot of wizards can learn, Evard dismisses as a very what would he call it? The words Evard would use would be like a hack's attempt at using a hammer to solve a problem that requires finesse. And the Remove Curse, while you can see, while I grant that Remove Curse is sufficient in up to 87% of these lighter curses wizards find themselves casting, a real magic aficionado delves deeper into the toolbox to find more custom, more bespoke solutions to breaking complex curses. And what follows is Evard's breakdowns of a number of different curses and how to break them using subtle, beautiful magic. As you begin flicking through with a 19, there's discussion of curses of blindness, curses of anosmia, the losing sense of smell, any of the curses that block the senses, any of the curses that block the sense of pain or interoception, moving quickly into what you would describe as an escalation, curses that removes one's legs, curses that like turn people inside out, like really does escalate quite quickly. Most
for those curses, is because it's talking about curing those curses. There's a difference, I assume, between removing a curse that's removed someone's leg and healing somebody who has lost a leg.
Well, this is where this flows nicely to what I was about to say.
Go team.
A number of the solutions to these curses, particularly these more grotesque ones, are interesting to say the least, Tithla. For the one of someone being cursed to be turned inside out, apparently this is based on a real life case study that Evard himself addressed. A night hag had cast this curse on someone and cursed them to live through this horrific experience. Evard was luckily able to put them out of their misery swiftly, with no further harm to themselves or anyone who had to see them. Was his solution to that curse. After sprinkling some holly on them and pushing them down a well, he was then able to break the curse.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, you get the sense that Evard's approach to some of these spells and magic is not based on medical science as you know it, Tithla. Or rather, I would say it is based on medical science as you know it, Tithla.
If they're dead, then they're not. They can't be.
Can't be cursed. Can't be cursed if you're dead. True fact. And it's hard to be cursed to be inside out if no one can see you and you're being pushed down a well.
Yeah, like if there's a tree fall in the woods and then
Good question.
How many squirrels die in the inside?
Evard's perception is out of sight, out of mind. However, there are genuine examples of breaking curses. For example, a curse of petrification can be reversed in a number of different ways. You can kill the creature that casts the curse. And this is one of those sort of classic things, is if you can find whatever magic was used to create the curse, sometimes killing that origin of the curse is enough to break most of the magic. A lot of magic relies on people still being alive to hold the weave together. There are potions you can brew that one can brew to remove petrification. When it comes to a werewolf bite, though, you can see that Evard has not a very long section on it. He has a longer section on the curse of smelly dragon scales, whatever that is. The curse of lycanthropy. Yeah, just skip through that. The curse of lycanthropy. Evard seems to be in two minds about whether or not this even counts as a curse. There's clearly some sort of magic involved, but Evard believes that there is another component, a connection that forms between those infected and those who have infected them. And this connection is not always obvious. In his eyes, the easiest way to break the curse of lycanthropy, the person who has been cursed must drink a potion comprised of wolfsbane, deadly nightshade, and various other herbs, which really probably like fly amanita, the mushroom. Like, a lot of things in this that really raise your question marks. But also, they also must drink the blood or a potion brewed with the blood of the werewolf who turned them to break that connection and break that curse. Doesn't have to be dead, just has to drink the blood. And interestingly enough, as you go through it, he seems to be basing this on vampires. Because there's a whole section on vampires. As you flick through, I would say Tithla would care about this and it would stand out.
Mm-hmm.
A vampire, when they're first turned, becomes a vampire thrall, bound in service to the vampire who raised them. But if they were to drink the blood of the vampire who turned them, they can become a true vampire. No longer bound, no longer held in sway by their master. They are now free to make their own decisions. It seems like Evard thinks that lycanthropy and vampirism are similar in origin and similar in function.
These herbs.
Hello.
Tithla would know of them.
Oh yeah, a number of them you'd recognise. Yeah.
Would you feel like they're around?
Wolfsbane is definitely not a winter climate herb. It's a leafy herb that's probably going to be somewhere in a forested region. Same with mushrooms. Mushrooms generally don't thrive in dry, cold, snowy environments. Normally they're like humid, hot, and damp environments. You might be lucky enough to find a she oak sap from around here. She oaks they will be able to in winter survive quite cold temperatures. If you might be able to get the sap from a she oak here as well. Powdered silver, that shouldn't be too hard to acquire. You just grate some silver. Sounds easy.
Okay.
But a number of the other herbs, you're probably going to have to head somewhere a bit warmer.
Great.
Top of a mountain, not a great place for gathering herbs, as you can imagine.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Tithla he does a lot of medical research here. She's going to then start exploring, or say, I need to find
see if he
this
has
stuff.
any of this stuff. Yeah.
See if he has any of this stuff.
I would love you to make me an investigation check or perception check, your choice.
Who's coming?
What are you finding?
These things. And she shoves the book into Jonor's face.
I'm happy to let you roll this with advantage, as both Jonor and Luther will help you with this check.
All right. Investigation, did you say?
Yes, please. Or perception, your choice.
Oh, I want to do a perception instead. So that would be 3 more than that. So it'd be a 23 or a 20.
Not bad. Let's take the 23.
Okay.
If
you'll allow me.
It's advantage, so I have to. As you look through the various alchemical... I described the alchemy work table that the Abbot has in this room when you first walk in. As you begin looking through the alchemy work table, along the back of it, forming almost like a tiny cabinet full of hundreds of little drawers, each one containing little dried herbs and powders and various other alchemical reagents and ingredients. As you begin going through them with the help of Jonor and Luther, Tithla, this is one of the most well-stocked laboratories or herbalists or alchemists you've really come across. The Abbot has worked hard. A number of the stocks are pretty diminished. It doesn't look like he's been able to replace many of these items, but for the most part, if this was all here when it was brought across with the Abbey, this would have been a healer's dream. And you also get the sense this wasn't for one person to use. You get the sense this was part of the Abbey, and this might have been used by a number of healers. Now the Abbot's the only one left, but this would have been stocks for many, many different healers.
Yeah, so it would last a long time.
Exactly.
There would be a lot in there.
As you begin to go through the drawers, you do find most of the ingredients you're after. Powdered silver, you do not find. That is not a typical alchemical ingredient for potions. That is very specific to this anti-werewolf potion or potion of werewolf curing. I said fly amanita before. I meant to say fly agaric, the mushroom fly agaric. There is no fly agaric either. That has no medicinal properties apart from causing intense hallucinations. It would not be in a healer's kit anywhere. Don't find random mushrooms and eat them thinking that they might be causing fun hallucinations. This is a fantasy world where things are safe to do. Just a quick PSA.
And if it's not safe, the worst thing that we do is we draw a number on a bit of paper.
Exactly, yeah. Or tear up a character sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
most of what you need is here, Tithla.
Does Tithla think that there's enough to make this potion, or do we need to...
I'm going to get one more medicine check. Just as you analyze this potion in particular, I want to see what Tithla's take on this is. I mean, Tithla, you're a master.
Yeah.
Well, a master. You have some experience in bushcraft and herbal medicine.
Medical genius, I think, is the phrase used.
Is the quote, yes.
That's the self-identified label that Tithla
Exactly.
has.
So she's got confidence.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to argue with
all
that.
we need.
Skill sometimes fits into the equation somewhere in there. Confidence is good.
Well, I have an inspiration that I'm going to use on this.
Okay.
Are you proficient in medicine?
Yeah.
Okay, at least.
That would have been good.
It's a 13,
13.
and an 8.
13 and 8. Tithla. There's a lot of components to this potion. Fly agaric. You don't think that's got any medicinal properties as far as you're aware. And if the only purpose is for it to be some sort of like binding agent or binding reagent to be used in this potion, probably any old mushroom would be fine. There are mushrooms here. The abbot has other mushrooms.
Well, we'll go to the kitchen. We'll spice a mushroom.
You don't have to go to the kitchen. They're in the alchemical components. They're in the chest of drawers.
We'll try and grab whatever there's the most of. That seems like it would probably.
I'm going to get you to roll me a D100. I'm going to have to pull open a list of mushrooms.
Well, she then wants to, like, looking at them, seeing what would substitute well, but doesn't want to try to not grab the very last of something.
No, I need...
Substituting potion ingredients like it's a recipe for soup.
Yeah. 81.
81, okay. Okay, so it is going to be within the realm of actual mushrooms used in medicinal areas, so at least we're not pulling through the poisons tray.
Lovely. Well, maybe that's bad. We've abandoned the poison.
Okay, nice. As you begin going through, the trays and begin pouring over the different ingredients, one of the drawers seems to have a dried mushroom, very fibrous, almost that looks like some mane of a mighty wolf or a creature with lots of like fur. And I mean, this mushroom probably can be substituted in with no dramas. It looks pretty similar. I mean, you don't know of the specific medicinal properties of this, whatever this is, but I mean,
don't need to.
You don't recognize it as poisonous.
It's a thumbs up, not a thumb down, so we're happy.
Yeah, it very much feels like a thumb at horizontal level, but I guess we can call that a thumbs up if that's how Tithla feels.
We're going to round it up, yeah.
We're going to round it up. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this lion's mane mushroom seems like it'd be fine.
Yeah, great. Jonor, do you happen to have any powdered silver? Do you know how to do that?
Oh, powdered silver. You mean like one of our coins, silver?
Yes, like
or
silver, but it's sort of
silver?
not like, you know.
Luther reaches into his knife belt and pulls out one of his silver knives and holds it out and goes, I have some pure silver here, if that would be any help at all. I'm happy to provide it.
Thank you. I think the coin's probably gonna do.
Are the coins pure silver? Are silver coins actually silver?
Well,
I know we call them silver coins, but like a gold coin isn't always made of gold. And a copper coin's not always made of copper.
No, it is though.
No,
I think copper coin would probably be the most made of the metal out of all of them.
Yeah. No, it's so expensive that copper coins are made out of wood and they're painted. No.
So I think he's actually got a point. We'd all be on a gold mine, like a literal gold mine, if we had this as real. So probably use Luther's blade. How can we break this into bits?
How powdered does this need to be for the potion?
I just need like a dash, maybe just a little bit off the handle.
Well, actually, I could, if I take the handle off, the blade will continue inside the handle for a bit. There'll be silver at the end there. If we could get a file or something,
yeah,
I could file down the end. That way, I don't have to lose my dagger as well. I would 100%. For Grinner, but I'd prefer not to.
We'd rather not for Grinner though.
If it was for Theo, I would. No, I'm cross with Theo right now. He fucking buggered off and left us here. If it was for Killian,
calm down. Remember, I was sort of getting mixed messages.
I'm sorry, you're cross with Theo, who goes off by himself.
I probably shouldn't be putting these words into Luther's mouth. Luther might be stoked with it. As actually, Jared has pointed out, Luther has Tinker's tools. Let me have a quick peek around and see what's in Tinker's tools. But I imagine that there would indeed be a file there. There's no way there wouldn't be a file in.
Surely, we'll just say there is.
Let's have a quick look through. No, I'm more than happy to have a quick look.
No, it's okay. I don't mind.
No, I'm happy to have a quick look.
Just
Take
go with
no
it.
time at all to have a quick peek around.
We're all sorted. Moving on.
Hand tools, thread needles, whetstone, scraps of cloth and leather, and a
Whetstone
small
will
pot
do.
of glue.
We can just grind it on the
Whetstone
whetstone.
would be perfect. I'm going to say that there is also a file there. I was just trolling to see if I could get you guys really nervous, and it worked really well for Jacob. That was an easy bait.
You want to say nervous? You wait till you say nervous, okay?
Okay. Luther, like taking his short sword, cracks it down on the hilt of the silver dagger, breaking part of the hilt open delicately, allowing him to pull the two halves away after unstripping the leather that binds the two halves together, revealing the blade inside with the what do they call that? It's like the tang. Thank you, with the tang. I was going to say tongue, so I'm pleased that you corrected me just in time, so I didn't look like a fucking idiot. as he gets the tang and begins filing it away, making a small pile of silver dust. Tithla, there's
and while that's
couple of pinches there, ready to go.
Lovely. Where did the liver come from?
If you just turn around and look at the corpse on the ground actually behind us,
Lovely.
that's Smelly Body right there.
Tithla goes over, and as though she's blooding an animal that she's killed for meat, begins and collects a sample of the blood.
It's thick and congealed, having been frozen for some time, and there's a almost like watery substrate that drains out from inside the veins as well. Not mixed fully with the blood, but seemingly separated out. Sorry, you want realism, this is what you get.
No, and I'm sure Tithla would be familiar with that, having stored animals
in the freezer, then blooded them later.
Yeah.
Probably you would have blooded them first, just because you don't want too much blood when you freeze it. Yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, not all the time, not common practice, but I'm sure it would have happened once or twice.
Sure, it's happened once or twice. We can agree to that. As you collect a sample of the dark blood and place it in one of the vials. You've got all the ingredients you need. Well, you've got most of the ingredients you need, plus a few substitutions, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, we're just gonna go back to the book, make sure see if there was any instructions on the process.
Instructions give you detailed notes on how to prepare this. I'm not going to go through that in detail. I will, however,
please. We would like to follow the instructions.
Given she shoved it in front of Jonor and he's a stickler for process, I think I would definitely follow methodology.
I'm sure Jonor would be annoying. Tithla go, okay, here, just let me have another look. And she grab it.
That's a 1 tablespoon. You don't just salt and throw it. It's a tablespoon. Okay.
As Tithla's just pouring some in.
Oh my god.
Okay.
So I would like to do a survival check to try and do it right.
I was going to offer you survival or medicine, your choice.
They're both the same. I just thought I'd do survival instead of medicine.
Let's take a survival. Let's do something different. Hey, 16. As you begin going through and following the directions as best you can. I mean, Jonor's being so specific with these amounts, wanting you to weigh stuff, and the scales take time.
Nerd. I don't know what the scales are.
They're right in front of you, but I mean, really, where are they? Jonor points them at least 6 times. But yeah, they're up there, they're on the table, and there's this centrifuge thing that Jonor turns with handles, trying to get you to put it into mixer. You just shake it. I mean, it's the same stuff. There's all a bit of wank.
Put your thumb on the cap of it and shake it.
This is all a bit of a wank. As you take your thumb away, you can see your fingers stained black from whatever this potion is. Trying to wipe it, it stays there.
Taste to make sure it's.
Do you?
Well, yeah, like a little tight little dab.
I would love a Constitution saving throw, please. That would be excellent. Thank you very much for that, Tithla.
And
I can't imagine she did it when.
That's a 21.
It's a 21. As you taste this, it's missing something. Something important.
See, this is why we taste before we serve.
There's a bubbling feeling on your tongue, but you're not worried about that. You're focused on what it's missing at this point. And as a little bit of foam starts to drip out the side of your mouth, that's what it is. It's too dry. The potion's too dry.
The blood too thick.
It's too thick. You need a bit of water.
Yeah. We'll go back to the corpse and just get that more transparent liquid. A little bit more of that in there. Shake that in there.
Yeah, sure.
It's gonna loosen it all up.
Yeah.
It's not gonna water it down.
Go back to giving it a good shake. Much better sloshing noises coming from inside the vial. Way
Happy
better.
days.
Happy days. That foam is still coming out of your mouth, and there's a bit of a sour taste as well that does seem to be getting stronger. But it all seems fine apart from that, and I mean, maybe
probably
it's
fine.
Yeah, it's probably fine. Finish shaking the potion.
Day, so
yeah, exactly.
Something was bound to go wrong at some point.
Yeah, 100%. As you finish shaking the potion, Jonor, there's quite a bit of foam coming out of Tithla's mouth at this point. It does almost look like she's foaming at the mouth a bit. As it sort of like starts bubbling, and as you go to sort of like tell Jonor it's finished, Tithla, it comes out as like, Rah! And then the words start as foam goes, and then spews down your chin onto your tunic.
One was Jonor. Here's my water skin. I can't hear what you're saying. Have it gobble up. His water skin. Have some. Clear the mouth. What did you just say?
Here's my water skin. Gobble it up. That's a t-shirt. Thank you for that, Jonor. Yeah, Tithla. Jonor offers his water skin. Do you gobble it up?
Okay, thank you.
That's
Nom,
awesome.
nom, 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 nom.
Perfect. As you begin rinsing your mouth with the water, and then are you drinking the water or spitting it on the floor?
100% she drinks it. She missed the memo. She's gonna just drink it.
Probably made it worse.
Oh, matey. I'm gonna need you to roll me a D100, please, Jake.
This is naturally caused. This is like inside of her. Let me just get this one.
The wide
That's a
eyes
61.
that Jonor has,
60.
seeing the throat just like gulp and swallow it down.
Well, I
Okay.
suppose
Sorry, you go.
depends. How would Tithla have recognized that she was struggling with this, or was it? Is she? I think she's too distracted.
You can't back out of it now.
No, she's too distracted. That's what I doubled down on it, bitch.
You did double down. You were offered the chance to rinse your mouth out, and you went, "Great, this will wash it down." Tithla, as you drink it down,
Yo.
bit of a rumbly in your tumbly right now.
Oh no.
It's a bit of a gurgle.
Luther, hold this. It gives Luther the vial.
Yep. And holds it up. Are you okay, Tithla? All okay?
Give it to Grinner. And she runs to go to the toilet.
As you begin running to go to the toilet, Tithla, this
I don't know where the toilet
strange...
is. Where's the toilet?
That was my next question. Where are you running?
Oh,
There are
just
chamber
runs.
pots under most of the beds, the hospital beds, but as you begin sort of running out to the open area where the other patients are, there's this strange tingling in your fingers, and as you go to begin running, the tingling seems to be spreading rapidly, and your feet feel really heavy right before you face plant onto the ground as this tingling begins to move up your legs as well.
Help! Help! I got the tingles. I caught the tingles.
Luther, should you go join him? We've run out there to Tithla.
Can't believe how
Right.
appropriate it is that like you get the balance of the liquid in this thing right, give it a good shake, get a good bit of ASMR, and then the tingles actually paralyze you as a result. It's too good. Yeah, I mean, Tithla, legs feel all wobbly and all jelly-like, and that grumbling and your tumbling still going. Your tongue's okay. Head and tongue are okay. It's just your extremities, just your arms and legs.
It's more fun my way.
Okay, your tongue's out too. You watch as Tithla begins struggling to breathe as whatever this paralytic is, if it's strong enough to hit your throat and tongue, it's also taken out the muscles
This
around
isn't
your
funny
legs.
anymore.
You sure you want to double down on that one, Jacob? Or?
Too late.
It does. It only attacks certain parts. Your tongue is, unfortunately, because you licked this and then drank it, does seem to be one of the.
This is from a literal drop of this stuff. Imagine what Grinner drinking the whole thing's gonna do.
Seeing her
It's
on
at
the
this
ground,
moment, Jonor,
legless.
as you see Tithla drop to the ground, Luther still holding the potion, looking at it, very confused. As you look at the directions, it is supposed to be left to stand for 5 hours before consumption so that the components mix well and ferment. Otherwise, it says at the bottom of the page, there may be unforeseen side effects.
Tithla grumbles. Ratings for nerd.
The temptation to have that be the last thing in this campaign is so overwhelming. No, carry on.
This little nerd is just gonna tuck you into bed, okay? You get arm up, you know. Tithla, can you raise your arm, please? I need to get it over my shoulder. No, okay. Luther, just put that down really carefully, perfect, and we're just gonna chuck you into bed next to Killian. Yeah, there we go. There we
should
go.
Should we be concerned about this? She just dropped to the ground and she's not talking. Are we going to give this to Grinner?
I just like hand towards the face, little single finger shush over mouth. And, I don't think we're gonna be giving this to Grinner because
Did you do
5
that for
hours and
Tithla?
2 minutes. Yes.
Yeah, she starts gumming at your finger.
Oh.
Why?
Oh,
Why does Tithla do that?
Oh no.
Jacob, why does Tithla?
Slow withdraw.
Because
Why does-
she's in a state of uncertainty. She's doesn't feel safe, and it's all that she can't move her arms, she can't move her legs. It's the only control she has over her body. She's trying to exercise the last fragment of control she has over this scenario.
You watch this just looks down at Tithla, like almost like a fish having bit down on a hook. Looks down and goes like, "Do you need a hand with that?"
Yeah, let's chuck her up. Let's put her on a bed. Keep recovery position.
I'm gonna take her legs. You can have her hands. I don't want to be near her head right now.
Oh, I don't want the head either. She's gonna like spit at me or something. Oh, okay.
Now she's
In
just
the
drooling.
bed. 1, 2, 3.
Are you
No
chucking
head,
her?
or just arms and legs. No, we're gonna place her.
Oh, okay. Because the 1, 2, 3 implies a bit more, and the way you like tossed your arms felt like you were acting out. Yeah. No, as you very gently lift her up and place her in the bed. Luther, seeing that there's a bit of drool coming out the side of your mouth, Tithla slowly turns your head a little bit so that it's like pulling away and not going down your throat again.
Appreciate they're not trying to drown me.
Yeah. He then looks over at Killian, lying also partly comatose in bed. Looks back at Tithla, looks back at Killian, goes, Didn't we deal with this? I swear we just fixed Tithla. What? How does this keep happening? Are we going to have to wait a week to do this as well? Like, when's this going to fix itself? Do we have to fix this?
The Abbot's gonna be like, who did the medical? Oh no, yeah. How do we explain? We went through his stuff.
How long is this going to
This
last,
is,
Jonor? She didn't have that much of it. How long is this going to last?
I think we need to just have another look at this book and just take a procedural, methodical approach to this, and just let Tithla away from. Let's have a look at the books.
Grinner, potion's not finished. Tithla had a wrong thing. Not good. But the one we're getting you, it'll work. It'll be good. Don't you worry.
I've gone walkies. I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
there.
true. Grinner's walked up. Hey, Luther turns towards you and goes, "That cannot happen to Grinner. Like, especially if he's drinking the whole thing. How much is he drinking? How much are we giving him? Did Tithla read all of the instructions before starting, or just read this in order?"
She just took the book and I was like, all right, step 1. She yanked it out in front of me, and God, we need to spend a bit more time looking at it, I think.
Because one of the recipes that I use for black powder, it has all the warnings on the back of the page. I don't know if you've...
Ooh. Oh yeah, that's probably the way to go.
You want to...
Tithla goes, there's a back page.
Jonor, as you turn the page, there's a whole list of side effects listed, including paralysis. There's one called sluggification. Not sure what that means.
Tithla, I drop down to her sort of eyesight. Sluggification, and I go like heavy nod or heavy side shake. Like
Tithla's eyes just go from side to side.
Jonor, you don't... Paralysis is
sluggification.
listed there. This is definitely paralysis. That is something
Paralysis?
else. Yeah, paralysis is listed as one of the side effects if you don't handle this properly or don't follow the directions correctly.
nod, shake. What does she do?
Sluggification's something else.
She moves her eyes from left to right.
All right. Well,
That's
seems
all
like
she's got.
okay. Well,
So I guess we
think I
let this... Do we let this sit for a bit then? The instructions say 5 hours. Do you have an hourglass or something we can use? I don't know if I saw one in
we
the
can
Abbot's
just-
study.
he would have one for sure. In his office as well. We'll have a quick poke and we'll find one.
Do we need to clean this stuff up a bit so it doesn't look like we've been mucking around with his stuff as well?
I think, given we told him where Arena is, I think he'll be a bit more forgiving.
His attention will be elsewhere. I get it. All right, well, I'll help you clean up a bit, and then I might go for a bit of a walk. See if I can find where Grinner's gone.
Yeah,
Grinner.
perfect.
You have wandered off.
I wandered off.
Would you like to take us through what Grinner does?
Grinner's going out the front of the Abbey. He's going to rug up in his coat, because I'm assuming it's pretty bloody cold out there.
As night has fallen, snow has begun to fall. I mean, this is the top of a mountain. It's, pretty bloody cold. Good summary. It's about probably -8 degrees.
And so I was picturing, when you described the abbey, it's kind of it's near the top, but it's not on the top. Is
Exactly.
that right?
It's almost so the mountain still rises behind you, but the abbey itself, it looks like this massive land has just been slammed into the side of the mountain. If you didn't know any better, you'd say someone picked this big plateau up and just stuck it onto the mountain, which is exactly what you think magic did do.
I'm going to try and find some sort of a goat track, animal track up to the actual tippy top of the mountain. I want to go to the summit.
I would love a survival check, please, as
I
you
can
wander
do
off into the snow on your own at night up a mountain.
You're great at splitting the party.
This went really well for some Russian explorers going through the Dyatlov Pass, so I'm sure it'll go well for Grinner. That's a 12. Grinner, as you begin looking around trying to find a little mountain path, luckily enough, there does appear to be a series of small tracks. Maybe not a goat path per se, but at least some mongrel folk with goat in them who have used this pathway. It doesn't lead directly to the top. The pathway does actually sort of curve around to a little forested area, partially sort of frozen forest area around the side of the abbey, but you can see there is a smaller track partly covered by snow leading up towards the summit. As you begin making your way up there, the mist begins to close in around you. And then all of a sudden, as you climb a little bit higher, the mist begins to thin again. And as you reach the very top of the summit, you can almost see stars through the mist. Lights just shining through the dense blanket of fog. Below you, as you look out below the realm of Barovia, you can just see this thick blanket of fog covering the land, this dense mist, eddies swirling and moving, almost like it's alive. Right up here, at the very summit of this mountain, it's just thin enough that you can see starlight once again.
I'm going to just head all the way back, eyes closed, take a deep breath of the air. I'm assuming it's so cold that it hurts to breathe this in.
Yeah, like almost like icy barbs dig into your chest, and you have to pull part of your jacket up around your mouth to breathe in slightly warmer air, warmed by your body heat.
I'm gonna fight through it and take a deep breath with my eyes closed, and then sit down up there for a minute, looking around myself. And then I'm going to look towards where I believe the town of Barovia is, that direction. And I'm going to, not under my breath, quietly, but not under my breath, I'm going to say, Strahd, I know you could hear me. Strahd, you bastard. Come here.
Oh. Okay. I need you to roll me a D100, please, Grinner.
So just to be clear, I thought I was dumb.
I'm gonna need a D100. Is that a 15?
It is.
Grinner. There's a moment of quiet silence, the falling snow turning the world white and removing sound from all around you, leaving it this silent, white landscape before you. And then you watch as a little eddy slowly begins to swirl in the snow, before the air around it begins to tumble and spin, forming what almost looks like this vortex. Stepping from inside the vortex onto thin air, standing in the air next to you, is a figure. Long black hair pulled back into a ponytail. A large grey cloak draped around what looks like this very elegantly made metal armor. Dark black with red, almost like red embossed sections forming these intricate swirling designs. Pale face, hard face, eyes dark crimson red. And as he turns his attention towards you, you watch as that vortex of air and snow slowly begins to fade behind him as he moves his hand up and pulls, closing it, before turning his attention back to you. You think you can call me, to come and speak to you?
Well,
This is not how this works.
I mean, it kind of did, though, didn't it?
Only because you come here alone. Only because you are here. And I sense something different about you. Something that my curiosity will not let me ignore. You smell. So that is how you will fall. To the bite of the wolf. How disappointing.
Well, I haven't quite fallen yet.
No?
I mean, I've fallen down quite a lot.
I can smell it in your blood. No, but please, try to find a cure. If you find one, it will be much more interesting for me.
Yeah, alright, well, I'm not going to do it for you, but I'm doing it for someone else, actually. It's going to work.
Is it now? Well, maybe it will at that. Maybe it won't. But you have already fallen. Just like all the others.
Just
This
like
means,
you, mate.
Yes, just like me. This means maybe there was nothing special about you and your friends. How disappointing.
Well, I wouldn't write us off just yet. We've still got lovely dinner plans, don't we?
So you do mean to take me up on my invitation? Good. There is much to discuss.
I think I'd agree with that. Now, you come all this way. You mind if I ask you some questions, seeing as you're here? Sate my curiosity as well as yours.
You may ask 3 questions of me. After that, if I am bored, I will push you down the side of this mountain. Watch you tumble head over heels off the edge of the waterfall deep down below you.
Alright. And you promise to answer all 3 truthfully?
No. I promise to answer them however I goddamn feel like it.
Do you promise to answer them at least? Regardless of the truth of them, you promise
You don't
to
make
answer.
demands of me.
No, I'm asking.
You have just proven to me by this infection of your blood, by this taint within you, that you are not as useful as I thought you were. You thought you had bargaining power. Trust me. You are getting less and less interesting to me. But you have fallen to something so crude as one of the werewolves, the bite of a wolf. It is so boring.
I never got nibbled on, actually. I've never been bitten by no wolves. I got a new liver, that's all. Got a little hairy in the middle there.
The Abbot. So, he still is looking for a way out. See, I would have thought he would have given up by now. Surely.
I don't know anything about that. He didn't mention none of that. He just said he'd give me a new liver, that's
Make
all.
me a deception check with disadvantage, Grinner. You flat out liar. You actually tried to recruit the Abbot against Strahd. Like, that's definitely a deception check with disadvantage, please. 17 and 20, though? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, boy.
Fuck. The Abbot. You made a deal with him. You will help him escape, or when you leave, you will take him with you. I would have thought he would have started refusing those deals after the last ones. It's been a long time since he dared involve himself in this game.
Well,
Must have been very persuasive. Or he very desperate.
I wouldn't know nothing about that. My first question for you: what was the last thing you did that most normal people would consider to be good?
The last normal thing that most normal people would consider to be good.
Yeah. What was the last thing that you did that was actually a genuinely good deed?
You watch as he kind of cocks his head a little bit, a little half smile playing across his lips. I still do good for this land. Without my protection, the other would cause absolute chaos. I keep order here. I keep rules. That is the most good I can do. And I still do. Even if I am not recognized for my work.
What are you going to do when you get rid of the other? When you defeat him, which is obviously the whole point behind this whole struggle, what then?
I watch the life leave his eyes, finally, taken by my hand. Then I will wipe all of his chaos from this place. Take away his toys, his creatures, his monstrosities. And this land will return to a place of order, in the von Zarevich name, as it should have been all along. A place of peace, a place of prosperity for my grateful citizens.
So you don't want to go around murdering everybody, is that what you're saying?
I have no interest in these lives of mortals. Do you have any idea how long I've lived? They are like a blink. Less than that. Why would I bother with what tiny, pitiful choices they make, what tiny fleeting lives? No, I care not for them. Only for what they can do for me as their leader, and how they may serve me.
Right, all right.
Grinner, what's your passive insight? Or just what's your wisdom? You're actually you're not that unwise from memory.
My passive insight is 14.
There's
My
a contradiction
wisdom is
in what
+1.
Strahd just said.
Mm-hmm.
Before, he said he would bring order for the people of this land. But then he just said he doesn't care about them. One of those was a lie, you're pretty sure.
You know, I see a lot of connections between yourself and myself. I know you wouldn't. I get that. You've been around for a fair while, and I've no doubt you've done a lot of worse things. Well, no, I'd say not in individual acts, I don't reckon, but you've done a lot more of the bad things.
This is what happens when you live as long as I. You have more chances to make mistakes, more chances to regret. I promised you that you would experience that. I mean to do that promise. I mean to make true on that promise. Even if your blood is tainted by the bite of the wolf.
Well, we'll see about that. But look, I guess what I'm getting at, right, is I lost myself. And you've lost yourself. You're not the bloke you were when all of this shit started. And I think you regret that. I think there's a part of you that's a little bit sad about that. And you say we don't have anything to bargain with. I don't know if that's entirely true either. My last question for you, mate, or at least last one.
No. What do you have to bargain? What do you think you have that I would want?
We'll bring that up over dinner, I'd say. That's not a now thing. Now's just having a little chat with a new mate. Eh?
It is so cute that you think you can play games with me, boy.
Well, look, I don't know. Either I tell you and then you know, or I don't tell you. Maybe you kill me and then you don't know. So,
or the third option, I kill you, bring you back as a vampire spawn, and ask you to tell me. And you gratefully dropped your knees. Tell me everything you know.
But see, that's boring, isn't it? Why do you always want to get your way, mate? How long are you going to live before you realise that getting your way every fucking time defeats the whole purpose? Now, my third question for you. We dropped in to a mansion when just before we came here.
Yes,
I showed you
sections of it are still scattered across the hill not far from my castle.
Yeah. And I gave you a little token from that place. You liked that a lot. I remember that. Well, in that mansion, there happened to be quite a lot of giant tapestries on a lot of those walls. With
he genuinely looks confused as you say this. He there's a moment where he pauses and then leans in, interested in what you're saying.
And in those tapestries, there happened to be some people who looked like some people who A, I've met, and B, have been described to me. One of them standing in front of me there.
That is not possible. There cannot be records of tapestry still alive that have not turned to dust in lands outside of this. That is not possible.
Well, you explain it to me then, because there was a sad-looking, black-haired bloke.
You are from the Sealed Realm. You and the friends, right? Nostea.
Yeah, that one. Never heard it called the Sealed Realm, though.
Oh, yes. I have not had visitors from your plane in a very long time. Not since the very beginning. That is interesting. Time does not move the same here as it does in your place. Very interesting. That could be useful.
Well,
That
it
could
happened
be
to
very
have.
useful.
It had a few stories in it, that tapestry. Well, series of tapestries. I don't remember a
let
whole
me
lot of it.
imagine. Me slaughtering a village full of people. Riding across the lands on a black horse, bringing blood and death in my wake. I have seen them all before.
No, it wasn't quite as boring as all that. You want to know?
Fine. What was on this tapestry?
Well, there was a sulky, sad, black-haired man, a lovely-looking, blonde-haired man, and a girl.
He pauses. His eyes turning towards you. Intensity behind them you've seen once before, Grinner. What? Where was this?
Well, it was good seeing you, mate. I'll catch you in a couple nights' time.
Your
Grinner's gonna stand
throat
up.
is grabbed as he raises you up and slowly turns so that your legs are dangling over the edge of the precipice. You can feel the hands wrapping around your throat. No, I do not think so. This is interesting. I think you and I have more to discuss, but this mountain, I'm worried the cold is making it hard for you to talk, as he slowly tightens his grip around your throat. I wonder if maybe we should talk more back at the castle. This is interesting. I think there is more to talk about here. What say you?
Grinner's going to point to his throat because he probably can't
The
talk
pressure
right now.
lightens just enough to let you talk as you get a bit of a breath in.
Yeah, all right.
And that is where we're going to wrap up for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. That is perfection.
Two of you end up in a worse spot than I am.
It's genuinely impressive.
You're nicely hanging around an abbey.
I don't know how you've managed to end up in a worse spot. It's genuinely incredible to me.
I feel so much better about what Tim has done.
Yeah, it's not the dumb. It's like,
Oh.
let's see how this pans out. It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Raph, I obviously don't need to tell you. I would love it if you could also draft up a backup character if you have not already done so, please.
Hey, we're all going to dinner soon. It'll work out.
We'll get over
I really
We'll get
would appreciate it.
Back. Are we going to get our our Grinner back?
If you could also draft up a backup character and send me some descriptions of artwork, I may need to actually start work on some artwork in the background because this is not good. This is really not good.
Is there a dual vampire werewolf class that Grinner could come back as?
No, that's not how that's gonna work. Oh no. Yeah. Just over the next week or so, mate. You got a bit of time. Just have a bit of a think.
Yeah, okay.
Grinner's fine. What are you worrying about? It's Grinner.
I really am gonna need to get to work on some character art.
Already gives the chances I'll get home safe.
It's just like I've been keeping track of how many times you've pushed it with Strahd, and there is a breaking point that you are towing, and this is not a good one. This was not good.
Rolled straight across.
The next session's going to open with the rest of you hearing this strange strangled cry and then a splat. And as you look out the window, it's just going to be this wet red mess across the cobblestones of the Abbey with like a tiny like army cap beret sitting on top of it and a whole bunch of improvised weapons strewn across the floor. Oh my
Jacket
goodness.
wouldn't help that though.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a that's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to do some I'm going to have a bit of a chat with you, Raph, after this one. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you've had a wonderful time. For those of you watching us on YouTube, please make sure you hit that like button and more ideally the subscribe button. Like button's a bonus, subscribe button's the one we really need you to hit. That's the most important one. If you are one of our lovely Tempest Guild members, then you have been enjoying this earlier than everybody else, and you've also been earning channel points as well, which means that you can also spend them on inspirations, like what Jacob was able to use tonight as Tithla. You can use those points to grant advantage, disadvantage to the players or to myself, as well as summon monsters and NPCs such as Calathard. So, thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you very much for the subscribe there, Miss Snuggles. Thank you very much. Perfect timing. We are going to quickly go and raid one of our other lovely friends. It looks like Evildoer might be doing some Dungeons and Dragons. I think we should definitely go and raid Evildoer. So I'm going to load up a raid for them. So make sure you stick around if you're on Twitch. But for everybody else, stay safe, stay well. See you all again next time. Goodbye.
Bye.